everybody. Welcome back to Rusty Acres. We're down here at the sawmill today. It's a muddy mess. It's been raining all week. And we're doing some cleanup, gathering up some slab wood and some trimmings, piling those up so that we can cut those up later. Wet sawdust everywhere, mud everywhere. But when we were sawing earlier this week, the sawdust drag quit working. So I'm gonna have to get down in the pit, clean that out, and get the chain back on. When I put the sawdust drag in, it's not in right. I will dig it out, and I'm gonna pour a concrete pad to attach the gearbox to. The problem is when I put the gearbox in, I just threw a couple tie butts down in the bottom of the pit, and I drilled holes in them, and I pounded rebar into the dirt, maybe like 3 foot long, 2 foot long pieces of rebar to keep it from twisting and moving around in there. And the chain that I'm using isn't sawdust drag chain, it's flights off of a combine, and it's pretty heavy. And I think the weight and grabbing sticks, it'll get a little extra load on it, and the gearbox starts picking up out of the bottom of the pit, and then the chain gets slack and it comes off the sprocket. So I'm gonna dig it out, probably put a brace in to hold it down until I get a concrete pad to attach it to. Let me show you what's going on down there. All right, guys, I got the cover board that we just put on. I removed it, removed this first roller. So give me some more room to get down in here. And I don't know if you can see, let me move in a little. But down in the bottom of the pit here is a gearbox buried in sawdust. That's what we got to get the chain back on. And what is going on, like I said, it's climbing up out of the hole when it gets a load on it. So I'm going to clean it out, and I'll probably put some kind of brace or blocking from the husk down to that gearbox to hold it down from climbing back up. All right, guys, I climbed down in the pit. Got a short shovel. I'm gonna scoop this sawdust up and throw it out this way. Hey guys, remember when I said be careful when you're working on the mill? If you have any tools, don't drop them down in the sawdust pit because it's like quicksand. If it goes down there, you're never gonna find it again. Well, I lost this ratchet a couple months ago, an extension, and while I was cleaning the pit out, I did find it. Actually, I found it in the sawdust pile when I was knocking the sawdust pile down. But be careful with your tools when you're working on the sawmill. All right, guys, as you can see, we dug this out. I got this 4x4 brace in, and that's holding the corner of this gearbox down so the gearbox can't climb up out of this pit and slack the chain. The 4x4 is attached to the husk, so it can't get dislodged and fall into the saw blade. This is a temporary fix. This isn't a permanent fix. This is to clean the pit out. Probably not this week, maybe next week. I'll dig this all out and I'll pour a concrete slab down in here. That way I can anchor that gearbox to the slab. I put this in there. I thought with the tie butts, being staked into the ground that this wouldn't move, but it didn't work. And another part of the problem is this chain. The chain, these are flights off of a combine. They're heavy. They're much heavier than sawdust drag chain. It's hard to get tight. So you know, maybe even get the right chain for this. I don't know. But this is what I had and what I scavenged up. You know, you don't exactly trip over this stuff all the time. You know, when you're working on these old mills, you know, part of the fun is gathering everything up. I mean, I went all over the tri-state area chasing down sawmill parts, buying stuff up. You know, it took me probably 2 years to gather everything up to put this together. And I still there's things that I need. You know, mostly time so that I can get everything finished, but you know, it's coming along little by little. I'm not thrilled with the way this gearbox is. It's kind of rigged up, and I don't like stuff like that. So, you know, that's kind of like up there on the priority list. Get this gearbox finished up, get it done right, and get a deck in on the off-bear side and a set of rollers. Like, that's the number one. That's 1 and 2 on the list. You know, so all right. Hey, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.